Greetings. Today's topic is common sense. It's a little bit of shadow work. Understanding the light and what it represents in you. So to what we see in the world and how we respond defines our character. So let's talk to the shadow first. Get the band-aids off and reach those that are in peril, those who have problems. This is the ground in the mind. So psychologically, see the shadow as the deceiver. See the shadow as the polluter. See the shadow as the diluter, the diffuser. The impurity of that is what is in its original state actually clear. And the shadow changes that image. So for what we see in the world and we are not in accordance with or in agreement, the shadow responds, if not taken care. You're born on this planet with agreeable and disagreeable inside of you. The logic, the rational, the think and I think I know and believe. Then there's the right brain, the right hemisphere that decides this is how it feels, this is what it was, this it is how it is remembered, and furthermore, futuristic speaking, moving on into that. So we have to learn to respect one another. So let's begin with disagreements. I have friends that to this day we don't debate. We more enrich each other with what we know. You know this, I know this. Interesting, I don't have that experience. You have that. Seems from the emotional gestures and the content of your information and your breathing that you have really experienced that. I can respect that in you, as I want others to respect that in me. Now also, if one party decides to not communicate with the other side, that wants and wishes to be respected. If you're not in agreement, that is okay. If you're not in resonance, that is okay. Even remember when I grew up, people would throw sarcastic jokes at me for where I was, and I didn't ask for that. And they kind of kicked me and they said, I'm just joking, or nobody can take a joke anymore. Sometimes it is not appropriate to do that in order to poke somebody to get a reaction from that person just because they feel like it. So these are the basic spirits, as in daemon as in daimon, as in spirit that requires healing. The bullies, and we all have experienced them. The bullies that will report you to the teacher just to upset the class. They have their way to upset your freedom to enjoy your life and the endeavor and profitable enterprise that you are going for. And it's not based on any reality. It is absolute fiction. And the fictional creation gets these dark characters actually nowhere. It is sad to say that you would not see a rich person go to those measures, not to discriminate or to paint it black and white. It is mostly observed that people are not happy with their life, so they must disturb others that they're not happy with, or energy or attention that they require to get from those people. So I say, apply common sense, please. Give people peace. Let people live in peace. Let people strive. And many, many religious groups say, well, Jesus died for your sins. But here's this. Why is it that a messianic figure that brings forth the word of God and the love and the just gets crucified by their own people? And then people want to say, I'm using this so people have a religious idea of what humans do. Every time there is one amongst you that begins to rise and puts it together and conducts himself perfectly, he'll be crucified. So if we're repeating that, apparently that hasn't healed within us with others. And that must heal, that shall heal, and it will heal. Also, as in the Uranus in transit energy, don't see it such as a mythological construct to, oh, you know, that woo-woo stuff and astrology. This is psychologically, we are observing ourselves and we're trying to make the best out of ourselves in that version. We landed on this earth, we incarnated here in human vessels to become who we truly are with everything that is within us. It is a complicated path because the mystery lies within. What am I good at? What am I bad at? What shall I not do? And what by divine right must I do? That is for you to determine and find out. No one else, no guru, no master teacher, no ascended master, no descended master or inscended master. You are the best version of yourself. You are as deep as you only can be, and you determine that. So the responsibility comes back to you. So let us communicate with the shadow. For those who feel they must hate, ask yourself, what does that do to produce that? To wish bad luck, to disrupt one's existence, because you have the power to mislead people, to use deceit, to create and fabricate storylines that are a figment of your imagination. The paranormal is very real and very eventful, and we have a plethora of witnesses and reports and sightings and recordings on camera. That's beside the point. The point I'm making is between light and dark. Some people claim, yeah, they have a dark self and a light self, and they can manage that. By uttering that, actually you be spelling yourself by creating something of a split. You are one person. And many people in this society use a character profile of characters to reply to people to keep up the illusion of what they're not. So I'm talking to the central intelligence, the organic, emotional, and social intelligence, which is what you represent, is a kind gesture without expecting anything. How many of us really are doing that? Ask yourself, why do you live in a highly populated area where your crime rate is most high? Aggression in the street is at an all-time high. Your expenses are too high. You're working 2 or 3 jobs to maintain what? And reflect that back into your consciousness. And it might be time for you to move, to pack your things, and not participate in the circus that is nervous, that'll get you nowhere, but sick. They realized now, which is almost laughable, science is realizing that 1 hour in the woods with the birds around you in a natural environment away from the city resets your brain and you begin to function better. So my question to you is, why not move into an environment that supports that? Why suffer? Why struggle? We have the internet. You can reach the world. You can reach anybody. You can open an Etsy store, upload products for 20 cents. Why is it that people are still on welfare, deciding to be on welfare? Certain people agreed they need support. But if your government would shut down, where is your support check going? I'm talking about developing an interdependent, as an independent individual mind that can actually create in a way that it can bring forth enrichment for the others. And everybody else can enrich everybody else. So as we are all reflections of one another, we are here to enrich our mind state. I can honestly, truly speak upon it. Saddens me to see that people are still stuck, slumbering their life away, upsetting the establishment, but at the same time cursing the establishment, creating ruckus where ruckus is not necesito, necesario, necessary. My question to those that watch, for those that listen, sometimes it is wise to use your heart to listen, not your head, and figure out how does that feel. I often refer to what children do, as do grown-ups, sandbox analogy. The kid sits in the sandbox, plays, and is happy, has a form and makes his little sand castle, or if you will, sand cakes. And he's genuinely happy. He doesn't or she doesn't require anything at the moment because there's bliss being created. But there's the shadow lurking in the sandbox that has a problem with that kid enjoying itself. So he walks over there, kicks in the sand castles, and takes the form and says, "What are you going to do?" The kid, from an angelic point of view, my own experience, doesn't reply in violence and says, "If you'd like my form, you can have it." And I share. The kid observes that the shadow character is not happy. So in order to make the shadow happy, and this is where you can say the failure begins, the kid says, "You know what, I'll gift you that form, I can get another one." And the shadow goes, "Ha! I rule over you. Now I have one." And this is when we talk about disagreeable beings, those that shun you, those that exclude you, those that smile in your face, but they know they hate your guts. And we have to ask ourselves, what is behind that doing? What are we, and please feel free to comment with your own experience, women being harassed at work because males dominate with their power the check writers. Now this is being solved in a great detail, which is welcomed as the feminine aspect is being integrated. Why is it, from the past paradigm perspective, weak to feel, to show emotions, and to share? If you're the kid in school or in kindergarten that shares food, is it shared out of free will, or, as we have noticed, shared out of fear? You go to school and you don't want to be beat up by the bully, so you give up your sandwich. You don't tell your mother, and you make a deal to keep it at bay, but the shadow is not healed. The shadow doesn't understand because the shadow is not integrating that feeling unless a bigger aspect steps in, stomps the shadow into the ground, shows the shadow that there's a limit, and the shadow will never engage again. These things also in extremes will happen to people that commit to the shadow, sorry to say. So in this time where everybody's on alert, everybody is irritated, try to do your work, pay your bills, develop the spiritual mind, Do not join any violent demonstrations. Consume things that bring you joy and happiness and share that amongst your people. And when people seek community, can you move to a town with your own thing, pay your own rent, not seeking roommates because you want to lower the rent? For students, agreeable, we get the concept of, we all need each other to build that up and bring that back together. But if we are fully functional human beings, can we, and this is my call for the soul family that is out now for the second time after 2012, and the soul family as an angelic related beings that know, and for those who can feel that, really listen to what I'm saying, be in close proximity for what will occur in the next 7 years. You're needed, and that energy as in the field that you're holding is also needed. So again, talking to the shadow is drop your weapons. For those that listen, the light ones, I'm preaching to the choir. The anger that you have towards a certain person right now, breathe out that emotion. Really breathe it out. Breathe out that aggression. Unresolved matters that you had with your father, breathe it out. Do not respond into things that you can't change. Those who have people that have passed on and things that you could have changed or couldn't change, let go. It makes no sense to fight the demons of the past. It is useless. Whatever happened, happened. Whatever occurred, occurred. Now try in the future, in this life, now to make choices from a kind heart. Not so much as in that you have to give up your keep. As I say, people will steal your milk money. This is not what this is about. It is more about being in peace, responding in peace. And when somebody doesn't respond, leave it alone. When there's areas where people are not welcomed, why would you tread there? I've seen that also happen on Facebook, you're friends with somebody, and this must be addressed because this is also a critical issue for the small percentage of the resisting cells in the awakening process. Awakening as in realizing, live a good life, live a conscious life with everything it has to offer, and find the path of what it is that you need to be doing with your life. So when somebody says you're not invited, you're not invited. When somebody says, I don't want to talk to you, respect that they don't want to talk to you. If somebody naturally seeks you out and you have a communication and you're the best of friends, or wherever that may take you, whatever relationship is developed from that, so it may be. Forced things won't last. Aggression will only create aggression. And fabricated fairy tales will only damage yourself and lead into nothingness and nowhere and despair and chaos, and in the end it'll cost you. So that goes to people from street level, the homeless guy or homeless woman, to lowest level of income, to highest level of government official. If you in your mind commit things that are immoral and you suppress this, it will come back to haunt you. And it doesn't matter how strong people claim they are. And we have seen people quiver on their deathbed. Everything that is being done is being reviewed against you, and it will be weighed against your heart. And if your crimes are heavier than your deeds, it's not like you get a free round and you get uplifted. In the spiritual realms, you sink like a rock. Your memory will be wiped and you start over until you get the picture right. We're all on earth. We are all worthy. We can all change. We can all make the better decision in life to get our act together. And from zero, be hero. Be your own hero. The ego seeks the praise. The master seeks to master. To center in and hone in and study the arts. And let's break down the energies of mastery and mastership. When I studied, and this is actually a universal truth for everything that you do, I'll just give you the hip-hop analogy. When I became a rapper, MC, okay? Not entertainer so much. More like conscious microphone master. Master of ceremony, MC. I studied poetry. And I went back hundreds of years. Not only did I study the masters at the time, in the 80s, I went back, how did this all evolve? I went into studying Edgar Allan Poe. Dark poetry, what does that mean? And all levels of poetries and nursery rhymes before this was even labeled rap. And I studied night and day, where a lot of people were outside and talking a great game of where they want to go. I studied. When people were asleep, I studied. When people slept in the day, I studied. When people wasted their time with nonsensical topics to reply to each other in the illusion of thought that, yeah, how are you? Good. But actually in the mind you feel like crap. I studied. So I went on stage to enchant the masses with lyrical skills, as in breaking it down to, how do you say, changing the density of the algorithm of word wizardry to walk through the paradigms of solid confinement in order to restructure the atomic structure, to bring back lyrical form, to bring order to this galaxy. That's how deep I went. In order, or in essence, to explain that further in case you lost me there, be invested like 1,000,000,000%, a gazillion percent in life in what you want to do. That's why you're here. There is no way around it. You need to be so invested. Study like there's no tomorrow. Study like your life depends on it in order to be a master and become that. I studied Wing Chun for many years. I studied Tai Chi for many years, so I can allow myself to wear this not just as a robe, because I know the arts. I had a teacher and I was good. And then I moved my consciousness into where I am better. Enhancing that what is, to reach those minds, to bring peace. Yeah, dyslexic. Nice. To really wishing I'm the kid that still sits in a sandbox, wishing there'd be enough toys for everybody so everybody is happy and we can all share and be happy and not bicker and bitch and attack one another for no apparent reason. Most of these reasons are made up and created in life. Relations with our parents, we hook, unhook. Abusive love relationships. How do I get more love from mommy? Okay, if I cater to mommy and do everything mommy says, maybe mommy loves me more. Where's self-love? All of this needs to be developed in your vortex. Vortex meaning being in your heart. And if you're not in the center, in the eye of the hurricane, you're in trouble. And that is for many, many people out there. That's why I had to do this little bit of shadow talk. Those who are out there hovering about, and those who know and those who give dislikes, you know who you are. You won't find me giving any dislike. But you also won't find me in a demonstration where bricks are flying and shots are fired. You also will not find me on Instagram subscribing to a topic that I don't like. You won't find me on a video page on YouTube where I have to click dislike, because my opinion is not important in that department. You won't find me in a restaurant where I don't like dining. But you will find me in a restaurant where I like dining. You will find me in places where I like to live life and share. You'll see me subscribing to channels that I enjoy. You will see me on Instagram following things that I enjoy. If there is a channel or an infiltration or an intruder, then I'll be alert, which I say is the best defense. I'll be wakeful. I'll be present in that moment to see what's intruding, what's the intrusion about, what's the infiltration. And I give you the infiltration. Let's say you have a Facebook friend for 2 or 3 years. They're cordial, they'll behave, they're nice. One day they snap and they start posting in your forum, nobody needs that crap. This is a bunch of la la la, and they totally lose themselves. The lie disappears and the shadow comes forth. We have to be diligent, we have to be wise, we have to be intelligent and smart enough to have no tolerance. So I thank my followers and my forum friends. They keep a watchful eye on those things and report to me what's actually out of line. And this concludes me saying that bring peace, be in peace, be in harmony. If you want to see the flip side, as in better life, better things, more magic, more things happening, unfolding in your life, do it correct. Be invested, be interested, have the fire of life. I call it the Promethean fire. Develop your own light and your own love, and everything shall be revealed to you. As many holy books have predicted, you believe in God, you walk 1 step, 2 steps he's coming towards you. Help us there, guides are there, angels are there. And I most certainly will see you, my friends, on the flip side. So keep it real.